Hi everyone, this is Nana with Tangle Time Arts. Welcome back. Big shout out to all my new subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And today we're going to take a look at day 9. Is it day 9 already of Advent Tangles? And I'm using the Advent Tangles calendar from MZ Creates. The information's in the description and you can request a free download from MZ Creates and follow along. I had printed out the pages and pasted them onto cardstock so I could follow along. And a lot of these tangles are new for me as well. And today we will be looking at, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I'm going to say Schnucki-Bee-Doo by Beate Winkler of Germany. And we're going to keep it simple today because it's been a super busy day. All you need is a white Zentangle tile or a piece of computer paper. You probably want to have the 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch. And then a black pen. I'm using an apprentice pen, which is my favorite, but any black pen is fine if you don't have one of these. A tortillon or a cotton swab if you don't have a tortillon, a number 2 pencil, and if you'd like to add just a tiny bit of color, you could use a marker or a colored pencil. Today I have a Sakura Jelly Roll gold pen. All right, let's start with our pencil, and we are going to actually start with the 4 dots, 1 in each corner. And then we are going to connect those dots and make like a little frame all the way around. You want to do this lightly. I am doing this a little darker so that you can see it on the camera there. All right, once you have something that looks like this, I'm going to put the pencil aside and take my black pen. And also, if you do have these step outs, you can look at these as well. I'm going to take my black pen and I'm starting with a dot, roughly in the center. It doesn't have to be exact. And then we're going to make just a curve. And then we're going to make another curve. And then I like to always rotate my tile just to make it easier for me. So we're going to go out to the side now with another curve. And then back. Rotate, and then we're going to go to the bottom. Back. And now we're going to go off to the side. And then we're going to fit in a 5th one. We're going to come back here. All right. And actually, if you look at the step outs, she doesn't put this last one in until a few steps down, but I like to just put it in. It's just easier for me to work with. And then at this point, we're going to start at one of the points of, this kind of looks like a pinwheel to me, or even like a ninja star, but we're going to start at one of the points and we're going to make a curve. We're aiming to the center of the next one, like that, and rotate. And this is where I deviate a little bit from her step out. I just finish off the last one. So we have like 5 petals here. And then we're going to kind of aura this line, but on the inside. And keep rotating around. And at this point, you can ink in this area here, and yours might be smaller or a little larger, and that's totally fine. But we're going to take a little time to ink this in. And I rotate when I'm inking in as well. I'm just enjoying the process of filling that in so I can relax after a really busy day of running holiday errands. Don't know where the time has gone. And we just keep filling these in. And some people like to make sure that it's completely 100% inked in, but I like to leave a little bit of white space sometimes. It just adds character. Now we're at our last one. I'm just going to kind of work that dot into one of my petals. And at this point, you could add some details to this and you can keep it that simple. But we're going to add another row of petals. And this is where it gets kind of challenging. And I like to start again, kind of not quite half, but maybe like 1/3 of the way. And I'm going to make a petal shape. And I'm coming back down to the point of that first one there. And then I'm going to branch off from that point, and I'm going to make a curve, but I'm going to aim this one to the center of the petal in the first row. And I keep rotating as I go. And this time I'm going to make another curve and come back to the point. So you're always alternating between the point and the center. And you're going to work your way around. So take off, make the curve, go to the halfway point there. And then for the next one, go to the point. The halfway point or the center. And for the next one, go to the point. Halfway, point. And then we're almost done here for our last one. We go right back to where we started. And then we're going to do the same thing we did before, where we make a curve to the halfway point. And you're going to work your way around. This tangle, this flower tangle, did did take a little bit of practice for me. Um, with the second row, and then once you have that in, we're going to repeat what we did here with doing an aura of the line kind of towards the inside a little bit. Once we have that filled in, then again, you can ink in those areas. Just take your time filling that in. And this is one of those situations where if you have a thicker black pen, you might want to use that for something like this. At the moment, I don't have one with me, but if you have one, feel free to use it. And I don't always go in order. You'll see me skipping around because that's just how I think. But you can go in order if you'd like, or you can go opposites, whatever makes your heart happy is totally fine. All right, I'm going to skip back over to here. This tangle's kind of cool because you can keep going out and make it larger, or you can keep it pretty small with just the initial flower itself. But you can make it as large as you'd like by just adding rows of petals. And I think this is my last one. Yay. All right, so once we have that inked in, I am going to step aside from this tangle before adding the details, and I am going to add something around it. Since we're keeping it kind of simple today, I'm going to just add one of my favorites, which is Printa by Zentangle. Here, let me write that on the back. So we are doing, let's see, Schnucki Schnucki-Bee-Doo by Beate Winkler, and Printa, this is an I, by Zentangle headquarters. Okay. So the way I like to start that tangle is actually with it's kind of like a cursive C. Start like that. And then you just do the aura around what you already have. And you can make these again as small or as large as you'd like. I'm going to go out a little more. If you run into an area like I did here and you want to keep making this bigger, you're just going to lift your pen and kind of air draw. You're going to take off air draw over and land over here and then just kind of keep going. Okay, and I think that one's nice and large. And then I'm going to rotate my paper and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a C, like a cursive C, and then go around. And here's a dilemma. We have our pencil line. You don't necessarily have to stop at the pencil line. You can, but you can also go outside of the pencil line. The pencil line's just a guide. It's not meant to stop you. But if you would like to stop there, you can. And rotate a little bit. And I'm going to add one here. Like that. I'm going to skip over here and add one. And then I'm going to put one here. And this is actually one of my favorite tangles. I love using Printa to fill in spaces. And there's different variations that you can use as well. I'm going to keep that one kind of small and add another one here. And because these are one of my favorites, I kind of draw them a little bit quickly, but take your time, especially in the beginning. And just remember, it's like a cursive C, and you just keep going around and around. Same thing with these little springs. If they meet one another, you're gonna lift your pen up, air draw over, land, and then keep going. Okay. Let's see. Tiny. Now we can take a look and decide if we want to add some more or not. I think that's enough of the little springs. And I am going to add something else. A lot of times with the Printa, I like to add little orbs like that. And I just kind of add them randomly, and they don't all have to be the same size. Some can be smaller and some can be larger. And I kind of rotate as I go and just find spaces where I think an orb would look really cool. Sometimes I add a couple of orbs. Let's see. Put one here, another one there. I'm going to add one up here. Maybe one here. Take a look. That looks cute. If you've finished adding orbs and you're finished with your springs, I like to go back in and ink in any of these little areas. Do you see like this little space here? I like to go back in and add some ink to that just for a little bit of drama, but I think it really makes a difference. So I'll go back in and fill in those little spaces. The same with the Printemps. Sometimes you get little spaces between them as well. And I like to ink those in. And that's optional. You don't have to do it. But I feel like it just makes a whole lot of difference. And here I kind of have a large area, so I'm going to fit in another orb or two. I'll put an orb here. See how we're doing. A minute to look things over and make sure you got those little spaces. And we'll kind of look it over. Yeah, I think we do. All right. For a moment, I'm going to put the cap on my pen and set that aside and pick up my pencil. We're going to do a little shading, and then we'll do add a little detail. So for the shading on this, there's different ways you could go. I'm going to start with the Schnucki-Bee-Doo. And I'm going to kind of start in the back here where these petals go behind this first layer. I'm going to add a little bit of graphite there. just around this first whole layer. And I'm going to rotate my tile as I go. So we have that done. And then the same with anything that's kind of going behind, I'm going to add a little bit of shading to. And with any of the tangles, there's different ways that you can shade. So this is just one of the ways that you could shade this. Let's see. We'll do the same. We'll just keep it consistent here on the first row as well. All right. I'm going to leave that like that, and then I'm going to do a little shading with the Printa. And again, I'm going to come around on the outside of the Schnucki-Bee-Doo and kind of add that shading first because the Printa is going behind it. So I'm shading, I'm adding a little pressure there so you can see, but I always suggest people to start lightly with their shading because you can always go back and add more. And then any of the areas where you have something behind another one, you want to add some shading. Let's see. This one's tucked behind this one, so we'll add some shading there. And likewise, this one's tucked behind that, so we'll add some shading. So you're really looking for any areas that are behind another one. Let's see, a little bit there. All right, I think that's pretty good. And then I'm going to take the tortillon and I'm going to let's just start with the inside, the first layer of the Schnucki-Bee-Doo. Oh, yours is probably going to be a lot lighter than mine. But if I do mine lightly, you won't be able to see it. And then just kind of smooth out any area where you see your graphite, just working your way around. So now I'm working on the outside of that first row of petals. Okay, so I have the first row done, and then we'll go do this second row. And don't worry if you don't have all of the official Zentangle materials. Especially if you're just starting out, you can use computer paper. You can just use a black pen and a regular pencil. If you don't have a tortillon, you can use let's see, you can use a cotton swab like this, or you can even blend with your finger. Just make sure you wash your hands afterwards, okay? All right, and then we're gonna go around the outside of the Schnucki-Bee-Doo. Okay, and I think we made our way all the way around. And then we're going to also blend out the areas around our little springs here. Okay. Let's see. All right, I think I got most of them. And then I'm going to add a little bit of graphite to these corners just because we did the dots, and I would kind of like to blend that in a little bit. If you'd like to, you could actually add the graphite all the way around. In fact, I think I'll do that as well. All right, and then I'll take my tortillon again and blend those as well. And with blending out the graphite, it's really just taking your time and going back and forth with the tortillon. It's actually one of my favorite parts of Zentangle. I find it very relaxing. And I kind of like the scratchy noise it makes. All right, I think we have all of our shading done. It looks really cute. Now to add our details, if you have your printout and you notice she's added some details here, so we're going to go back in and add that. And you can either do this with your black pen if you'd like, or if you do have a gel pen, if you want to add a little bit of color, we can do that with our gel pen. So I am going to use this one today. It's kind of a pink lavender with gold in it, and we'll see how that looks. And for details, we're just going to kind of come back in and add a little bit. I'm just going to do each petal like that first. But you can totally do this with a black pen. You don't have to add color to it. I just thought it would be kind of fun. And you could totally, if you wanted to, you could take a marker or colored pencils and you could totally color in the petals, actually. That might be something fun to experiment with. And then we're also going to add a line this way. And we're just going to work our way around slowly. All right, we did the second row. Now we'll do the first row. And then I'm going to take the same gel pen, the same color, and I am just going to add color to these orbs. And if you'd like, you can leave a little bit of white in there. This pen is very juicy, so it just wants to fill it in. Um, I think that's all of them. I don't know if you can see in the video, but when these dry, especially like the orbs, you get this nice little layer of gold in with the color. That's kind of cool. And that is basically it for Schnucki-Bee-Doo with Printa and some orbs. And we learned a lot about shading and shading behind and drawing behind. And our last things are to put our initials on there. You want to put your top on there. So usually what I like to do, especially like with one like this, there's no top or bottom of the piece. I like to rotate it around and just see where I would like to put my initials. Where are they going to fit? And I think actually I'm going to tuck it in right here for me. You might have a different corner, but I just like to kind of incorporate mine into the piece. And then always remember, or try to remember, to finish filling out the back. I like to put my name on it. And then the date. I think this is the 9th, the day 9 already. And the event is Advent Tangles. Day 9. Wow. And the very last thing is to admire your work. This is a simple piece, but it's really cute. And I love this flower. I could see myself using that in a lot of different pieces in the future. And I hope you enjoyed doing this as much as I did. Thank you for spending time with me today. This is Nana, helping you discover your inner artist. And if this demo was helpful to you, I hope you'll subscribe. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye-bye.